roll. Get down to the beat, you got to move your feet. Working on fingers. Y'all know this party's mad, so it's time to do it one more time. Come on. We got the groove to make it right.
Let me ask you a question. Are you ready to see your business explode in 2019? Last year of March 2018, we had our first conference where we had a small group of 25 entrepreneurs come together. Out of 25 entrepreneurs, 23 of them exploded this past year, and we're doing it again this year, March 21st, 22nd, and 23rd at the Aloft Hotel in downtown Greenville, South Carolina. This 3-day event is going to inspire you, it's going to inform you, and it's going to illustrate for you exactly how people just like you are taking their lives to new levels. You want to earn more? You want to enjoy more? Do you want to experience more? Then come to the You Are Worth More conference this year, 2019, in Greenville, South Carolina. Register now at worthmoreconference.com. That's worthmoreconference.com. Have you ever tried a work from home business? If you have, you may be like several others. Matter of fact, 98% of people, according to Forbes magazine, who've tried and failed. Why? Well, there's several reasons, but the main reason is because most home-based businesses have no means, method, or mechanism for you to get in front of people who need, want, desire, and can afford what it is you offer. See, the unique thing about TerryWilson3.com is we put you in a position where if you can simply answer a phone, read a script, you can make money. And I'm not talking about going and selling pills, thrills, lotions, and potions. I'm talking about selling something that every business, everyone who has a product, good, or service needs. And that is a lead generation marketing system. But here's the cool thing. You never cold call. You never have to recruit your friends, family, and foes. You simply take a call, read a script. Want more information? Go to TerryWilson3.com/call center right now to get more information. That's TerryWilson3.com/call center.
And now back to our show with Terry Wilson.
Well, happy afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone's having a relaxing Saturday thus far. So this is sort of for you guys who are members, this is sort of a makeup for Wednesday night being a little rushed and not being able to take the time, and also a broken link that kept folks from being able to chat and put in their questions. So I thought, well, what I'll do, my next impromptu live stream, I'll just allow people, active members, non-members, anybody that's got a question, just join in and try to make up some time with you guys that I owe you from Wednesday night, because I want to make sure everyone is getting value. I've got some great content today to share with you. And Larry, it's good to see you. Paul, it's been a while. It's good to see you. Esmildo, good to have you on again, brother. And Greenbacks is in the house. So good to have all of you guys in. We've got some great stuff to cover. One of the things that someone asked me was, Terry, you mentioned AR's Wednesday night, but I got in late. And could you just sort of go over what it is and why I need it again? And so this brings me to, you know, the value proposition of online marketing as it is. You know, hey, Tom, good to have you, brother. One of the things that's cool about doing business online, as opposed, hey, John, good to have you on, brother, as opposed to other types of marketing. You know, back when I was in insurance doing knee-to-knee, face-to-face, or when I was in the music biz and had the shop and doing all that, man, hey, Caroline, good to have you. It was just me, all that I could do. And I know a lot of my members, especially my newer members that are coming on, they're just getting into this flow of working from home. Some of them, not all. Some of you guys are insurance, real estate guys, pro guys. You're used to working from home. Hey, Jane, I need to get up with you sometime today if I can. I've got a video to share and go over some of the things about the conference. But online marketing, what it affords you to be able to do is automate a lot of your sales process. And that's what an autoresponder will do for you. Okay. And that's why it's so important to have everything set up on an autoresponder. And the neat thing that we were able to introduce Wednesday night is that special discount with that company that's going to give you a 30-day free trial and give you a discount and all that. So if you weren't on Wednesday night's training, go back there, because it's You need to do it. Now, keep in mind that doesn't circumvent or change the fact that we'll set it up for you on our AR if you want us to do it. But there's a give and take there, and I go over that Wednesday night. So just make sure you're on there and you understand that. And good to have you on, Elaine. Good to have you on. So if you've got any specific questions, go ahead. Hey, Alan, good to have you in. Good to see you, brother. And so if you got any specific questions, I'll be more than happy to answer that. But I did want to cover something that you guys, I just thought it was pretty telling when it comes to sales. You know, one of the things that people ask, Terry, why are you keeping the whole call center concept around? I mean, you focus so much time on building landing pages, setting up autoresponders, opt-in forms, setting up your blog. Why even mess with having, you know, that thing at Ring Central and managing your call center that way? And I'll tell you why. Here's an interesting factoid, and this just came out in 2018. So this is not an old statistic, but 92%, now listen to this, 92% of all customer interactions when it comes to closing a deal and finalizing a deal doesn't happen in person. So if you're a shop owner or you've got your own office, that's great. Doesn't happen through email, even though we promote online. It doesn't happen through social media. Where do you think it happens? Where do you think 92% of all business still takes place? What's going on, Quackenbush? Hey, Kevin, good to have you on, brother. First time? Good. Good to have you in. Where do you think 92% of all business happens when it comes to finalizing the business? Because I think sometimes people get sort of confused in their head what all these tools are for. Because at the end of the day, I'll tell you, if nobody wants to guess, 92% of all business interaction, closing the deal, finalizing the deal, is going to be, you're right, Caroline, over the phone. The reason why we train you to create content, the reason why we train you to drive traffic to that content, either via a bulk text or bulk email or a dialer, social media marketing, ad copy. The reason all of those assets are in place for one reason and one reason only, to get you on the phone. Because you're right, Larry, that telephone, talking to that person and letting them hear you, you hear them, and having a conversation is what finalizes a deal. And so what's going on? Josie Gray in the house. Josie, you got to come up to the conference, sweetie. You got to. We're doing it March 21st, 22nd, 23rd. You've got to be there. You're one of the people I want to see there. We need to talk afterwards. And by the way, if you're a member, you can still get in a discounted rate. We still got, I think, 6 tickets left, 6 or 7 tickets left. You can get a ticket if you're a member. If you're an elite member, it's only $29. You've got to get there. If you're a regular member, we're going to give it to you half off. If you're not a member, you can still come. You just have to pay the full pop of $397. But get there. I promise you, you'll want to be there. But you're right, Mark. Talking on the phone, having a conversation, as Larry just mentioned as well, and sharing, that personal conversation, it builds rapport. Now, what is rapport? What's rapport? I mean, let's just drill down on what these words mean so we know what we're talking about. See, you can have respect for me. You might even have some, liking to me, but I might not have rapport with you. Rapport goes way beyond just I like someone or I respect someone, but it combines that with a few other things. I trust them. I feel like they empathize with where I want to be, and I can empathize with what their objectives are. And you can only get that through a personal conversation. And that's why script development and understanding how to speak on the phone, at the end of the day, it's going to drive the results in your business. Now, today's topic I'm talking about is how to have consistent income with our platform or anything else you're doing. So you don't even have to be a TW3 member, I think, to get activity out of this. But I think there needs to be 3 things that you're doing every single day. This needs to be in your activity. Number 1, you need to be calling on people. Now, how do you do that? That's up to, your engagement process, what you like. Do you use a bulk texter, bulk dialer? Do you pick up the phone and just start calling? Do you place ads? What do you do? But you've got to be calling on, you've got to be doing that process once a day. Number two, you need to be capturing leads from people who respond from that activity. So I need to be doing three things. I need to be calling on people. I need to be capturing the people that to respond to it. And I need to be trying to convert the people that I've captured. Those are the three things. And those, we're going to get real deep into that. You're right, Caroline. It's a gut feeling. It's an emotional connection. It's like we have got some sort of simpatico thing going on here. You understand me, I understand you, and it goes beyond just the words. When you have rapport with people, I always tell people there's two things you've got to have to be an effective salesperson, marketer, whatever. You got to have rapport and authority with people. You got to have rapport that they trust you. You trust them that they're going to be a good client. It's not going to come back and bite you in the rear for doing business with them. They need to trust you that you're going to have their best interest at heart. You're going to do good business. You're going to do good by them. So you got that thing, and then you've got to have something else. You got to have authority. And what do I mean by that? There are some circles I can go into right now and speak with great authority because I just know what I'm talking about. And then there's more circles than they are those that I have no business opening my mouth right now. I need to be having a pen and paper and writing down because I don't have the authority in that area yet. I haven't gained, not only just the knowledge. And here's the other thing. It's not just about knowledge. It's how you apply what you know that gives you authority in any circle of influence, right? There's a lot of people that can talk circles around me about web design, blogging, and all kinds of other things, but they don't have the wisdom to how to put all that together to make money with it. So there's a difference. People all the time put all this pressure on themselves. Oh, I got to be this super knowledgeable person. No. You just got to be wise with what you know, because it's the wisdom that brings the value. And when you have value, you can share that value with other people and they go, oh, that person has authority. And so that's what you got to have. It's talk with the client, not at the client. You're exactly right. And a lot of times you're right, Gary. We get so wrapped up into saying what we want to say, because we're just, this is what I've got to communicate, that I teach and what I think everyone should be doing when you're talking one-on-one with people. It's highly effective is ask questions. Don't make a lot of statements, ask more questions. What made you to respond to this? What is it about this product, good, or service that you're looking at with us that caused you to even call in, caused you to fill out that opt-in form, and you just start taking mental notes, because if you will allow people, if you will give them the space, it's something amazing that people will do for you anytime you give them the opportunity to. And it's just a psychological fact. They will tell you their pains, their frustrations, what they want. They will go through that whole process with you. And you as the professional communicator, you as the professional entrepreneur that has an inventory of solutions, the moment that you can build rapport with them and empathize with where they're at, and then make some suggestions, well, here's a way that you could solve your problem. Here's a way you could solve your problem. Here's a way you can, once that client starts saying this person has authority, because they know they've been there. And that's why I always tell you, target people in the area that you have authority in. Don't be over here trying to generate leads for this type of business over here that you don't know anything about. Stay in your lane. If you know how to build, popsicle houses, then the only thing you need to be generating leads for is people that want to know how to make money from home or make money or build popsicle houses, whatever reason they want to be in a popsicle house build. That's where you need to be, because you can speak with authority. I know I'm being ridiculous, but you target leads in that area, and then you can say, hey, I used to, want to build popsicle houses myself, and I was having a hard time figuring out where to buy popsicle sticks, and without having to buy all the popsicles, I didn't need, and then all of a sudden you can start giving them all kinds of solutions and how a testimony of how you've been able to build a business, to build a life. That's what it takes. Paul says, rapport is like meeting of the minds. It really is, and both parties shave a point for points in common to be able to listen to each other. That is so, so true, Paul. So true. So I just thought that there's some, I was pulling up statistics with Forbes, yesterday of just about business and stuff like that. And then don't worry about the typos, brother. I speak with typos. So the more you can type with typos, the better rapport we're going to have here. But just some mind blowing statistics about business. 92% of all customers, the sales happens over the telephone. It's a very powerful tool. So that's why we keep it in place. Mark says a horrible mistake some new people make is to vomit every bit of information they have without realizing they have not connected. Oh, my word. Absolutely, Mark. Absolutely. And, you know, I quote it all the time, that Maya Angelou quote, because it rocked my world when I first started really considering it. People often forget what you tell them, but they'll never forget how you make them feel. I don't care if it's the most macho man in the world. I don't care if it's the most jaded lady in the world. Everybody has emotions. And when you can connect to people emotionally and you can listen to them and you can empathize with them and you can assure them that, hey, whether you make a deal with me or not, I'm going to try to help you in this process. When you can do that, your words that you are saying come to life. And you're right. We sometimes just inundate people with so much information that a lot of times, like for instance, do you know that I would say 75% of the people that onboard with us don't ever use, ask about, or even utilize our voice broadcast dialer. And that's one of our, cornerstone engagement tools because it's got the data and all. And so if you are, for instance, just as an example, selling TW3 and you spend all your time talking about, how good of a dialer we have compared to everyone else, how our rate's better, how it's opted in, it's FCC compliant. We're so much head and shoulders above everyone else. That's all great and it's all true, but you're 75% of your audience, even for the people that might use that later on. Statistically speaking, 75% of the audience don't ever, and it's one of the calling cards. When we do surveys and stuff, it's about half the memberships, they relate to that. Oh yeah, Terry's got that voice broadcast dollar, so I don't have to cold call. They hear it, they understand it, they appreciate the value, but then you go look at the numbers, 75% of them don't even use it. So, and Gary says, have a good, positive mental attitude, talk with the client, and then fun every opportunity. You're right. If you're not having fun, then you're not selling, bottom line, because emotions is what sells. I've often said, and you guys are just backing it up. What sells people is not really the information that you're giving them, but the emotion that you're transferring. Because when I'm excited about something, when I'm excited about TW3, why is some of my members on here right now talking are making consistently thousands of dollars a week? Why? Because they're excited about this business. Why? Because they're making money. And how, you start working a couple hours a day and making several $1,000s a week. It's hard to hide that kind of enthusiasm, right? And so when you're excited about it, other people are going to get excited about it. And so emotions and positive, like Gary's saying, positivity, man, that's what people latch on to. That's what they grab a hold of. And Mark is right. If you're positive, if you're excited about life, then it's going to be easier to connect with people on a level that they want to be connected with. And you're not just vomiting all of this data points all over them that might not even be of value to them. So here's another statistic I just thought was very, very interesting. Mark says it pays the bills. Bless your heart. I know you're suffering up there, brother. Number 2, it takes an average, listen to this. It takes an average of 8 cold call attempts to reach a prospective client. So a lot of times we'll have members come on and they generate leads. They come into their opt-in form and then they've reached out to them and they haven't responded. They reached out to them 2 times. They haven't responded. Maybe they've emailed them 3rd time and then they throw their hands up and they say, well, nobody wants. Listen, is anyone on this live chat with me right now? Is anyone? This is sincere. I'm not trying to be. This is not a nefarious or no, not nefarious, but it's not just a trick question. I'm sincerely asking this. Is anyone on here not busy? Is anyone listening right now on this live stream? Is your life just like, I'm bored. I usually just hang around the house and nothing to do, no obligations, no people to appease, nothing, nowhere to go. Is anyone on here in that situation? Because I'm not a betting person, but if I was to make a bet, I bet you out of the folks that's streaming with us now and out of the folks that's going to be with us later on watching this recording, I guarantee you're busy. I don't know if I've ever, I've got a pretty lackadaisical, lifestyle now with the work and the way I've scheduled it and everything. But even my free time's not free because I've somehow came in and somebody else obligated for the time. So the point is, no one is sitting around bored going, what I'm going to do next hour. You'll find a way. And so the point, even if you have the time off, hey, I want to catch up on my Netflix show that I'm looking or whatever. So the point is, your prospective clients are the same way, and you're going to have to persistently drip. That's why that's why you've got to have some of these tools like an AR. You need to, elite members, you need to sync your AR with our bulk texter to drip as well, and sync those like we train in that elite training. So that you're connecting with people, because the numbers with emails is only, the first email you send out, about 20% of them will open, and then it decreases from then on out. So you've got to be touching people multiple ways. And the way you can drive your open rate up with your emails after you get an opt-in is using that text methodology I trained a couple of weeks ago. So you need to be doing that. And then these tools are automated for you. And now all of a sudden it's like, because here's the thing I'm trying to get you to understand. One of the things that this is going to do for you, having these tools automate some of this process, it's going to protect you emotionally. And what I mean by that is, if I've got 100 emails going out and only 20% of them are opening it and only 2 of them are actually clicking, then what just happened is I called on 100 people and only 2 people responded. And out of those 2, I might close them, I might not. But think about it just for a second. I virtually got rejected 98% of the time. Think about that. I don't feel it because an electronic device, a software, is feeling it. But everyone on here, I don't care if you're a pro at this. I don't care. You can be the most seasoned person on here. Everyone on here, every one of you guys have emotions. Every one of you have feelings. Every one of you, nobody likes to be constantly rejected. And so the most seasoned professional, if you go through and you're calling 100 people a day and you got rejected 98 times, the last 2 people are probably the ones that say, well, I'll at least look at it. That's a tough hole. But if you have these tools that's automating some of that for you, they're doing it for you, then all of a sudden, what I perceive is the 2 people that called me today were pretty darn good leads. Man, they seemed interested. See, I'm not even cognitive of all the people that's, this guy's crazy. This guy's an idiot. What's this redneck want? See, so that's why you got to use these tools and automate this thing, because the statistics say that I've got to keep dripping on that. If we're using that 100 people analogy there, I got to keep dripping on them 100 people. I've got to send them probably 10 emails. I got to drip on them before they ever respond. And then the response might be, go away. It might not even be bye. But so if the statistics show me that I've got to call on people that are prospects, not leads, prospects. Now, what's the difference? A prospect is someone who's opted in. I generated a bunch of leads. They've opted in. Now they're a prospect. Well, I still got to call on those folks according to the numbers here, according to what Forbes is saying that they've done these numbers. I still got to call on those people 8 times to get them to drop. And if I'm doing it, the old fashioned way, man, I'm going to have to really manage myself sometimes. And Gary says the call center is very powerful. I have 10,000 weeks, 5,000 weeks, $3,500 days in the call center. The deal is real. And you're right, Gary. Gary's had that, and he's been with me going on 6 years, and got several other Josie's been with me, so she knows I'm legit. She knows I'm the real deal. She used to come on these shows and help me produce some of these podcasts. It's good to have her on. But you're right, Gary. The deal is real. And Caroline says, and it's like seeing a commercial or a billboard over and over. You don't see it until you're needing or wanting it. You're exactly right. And Shara says, wow, Gary, that's very encouraging. Thank you. I'm telling you guys, you want to be at the conference because you're going to see people like Gary. You're going to see people that have been in this business a while that are knocking it out of the park. And you're going to be able to see how are they doing it. I'll tell you, they're using our tools, but they got their own special spin on it, and that's the value of being there, because you're going to be able to be around those folks. You're going to see people like Mark, Mark hadn't been with me as long as Gary, but Mark took off. Mark just flat out. If you're saying, well, because the other argument I get all the time, well, yeah, of course Gary's successful, and look at it, he's been with Terry for 5, going on 6 years. Well, Mark just started last year, and it has just skyrocketed. And we've got other people in the same. Lindsay just started. My cohort here in the studio. You'll hear her on Monday nights. And by the way, Monday night, I'm telling you guys, members and non-members, Monday night you'll want to be here, and I'll tell you why. I'm doing a whole training Monday night, episode 354, on how to earn money even after the client says no. I've got 3 tried and true proven ways that I have over the last 25 years of being an entrepreneur. I've got, I'm looking at them right now. I'm making sure I'm not telling you. I got three ways, and those 3 ways I'm going to break out and make it relevant to you. But I got 3 ways, because a lot of times when people get in, and so you guys are selling TW3 a ton, and you've got new people on as entrepreneurs, and they get discouraged because, hey, I've tried this a week and I've talked to several people and they've all said no. This is going to encourage them, because what we're talking about today is why you need and how to be consistent. And you need to be consistently calling on people, capturing those leads, and converting those leads. And you do that through auto response systems and stuff like that. But Monday night, episode 354, I'll have Funny Man Chris Roop, I'll have Lindsay Taylor, I'll have Reagan in front of me, and we're going to be talking specifically about how to make money in business even when you're getting rejections and you're getting no's and you're getting pushback. Because there is a proven strategy, there is a methodology that I have used for years, and it works like a charm. So make sure you're on the live podcast. You can go to terrywilson3.com/live and get on there. But you definitely can. And Josie says, Terry, thanks. So blessed to have connected with you and been a part of your vision. Absolutely. And Greenback says, you want to know how to be successful like me, come to the conference. You're exactly right. You're going to be able to meet Gary and several other folks. So it's going to be worth every single moment that you're going to be there. So, but 8 times you gotta call on people. You got to call on people. So don't get discouraged. You new guys are just joining. And that's why you'll definitely want to, set this stuff up in honor. The best time. Now, here's something I didn't know about. They did a study, and I'm not telling you guys only try to call on people at this time of day. Okay. Don't hear that. Okay. But the statistics bear out that between 4 and 5 p.m. during the weekdays is the absolute best time to call on people. Now, there's various reasons for that. And it doesn't mean you can't call on people in the morning. It doesn't mean you can't call on people in the afternoon. It doesn't mean you can't call on people in the evenings. Listen, I've got you guys on here. I called on you to join me on this live stream, and it's 2:00 on a Saturday, which is the absolute worst time. Just to be honest with you, it's the absolute worst time to get people, because who wants to eat a hole in their Saturday, right? But to call on people, the numbers bear out. Try to call on them between 4 and 5 p.m. in the afternoon. 30 to 50% of sales go to, now this is huge. And listen, you new TW3 members that are taking calls in the call center. I see this play out every single day. 30 to 50% of people that make a buying decision, they typically go to the person that responds the quickest. 30 to 50% of sales go to the vendor, the client, or excuse me, the sales professional that responds the quickest. I don't know why people, I guess we live in just a hyper me now type environment. But I every day we get voicemails, and we try to redirect those voicemails to the client, to one of our members that are generating that lead. In other words, we'll get this every day. Hey, I responded to an ad. It said call, and they give the member's name, give the extension, and I've called 2 times thus far and can't get a hold of them. Now, I realize a lot of our guys that are just starting out with us, they've got 2 jobs. They're doing this as a side hustle till they can work their way into full time. I get that. But here's what I would tell you to do. I I would almost, if you could, every 2 hours or so, check your emails, check to see if you've got any voicemails that come in through the call center, and send out a text saying, I got your voicemail. I'll be calling you but just respond. Just, I'm not saying talk to them right now. I'm not saying get in trouble with work, but as quickly, because some of our guys will go a day or two, not respond. And then all of a sudden, well, the guys left. And here's what happened. They watched an orientation. They saw something. They liked it. They responded to your ad. And then all of a sudden they're talking to so-and-so, another TW3 rep. And we don't want that to happen, but we can't control it. So the best thing you can do is just be responsive. Be responsive. We've seen that a lot. You're right, Sharon. Take massive action. Elite members, Lori Brown is listening on the phone in her car but cannot chat. She says, hi. Lori, good to have you on. I love talking to people from Texas. And my wife keeps changing the itinerary for our, I'm looking at it right now, for our, when is it? We go out to the West in April sometime. And we are going through Texas, and I keep telling her we need to get down there where you're at, because you say that's the best place in Texas to be, to see. Esmilda says, hi, Terry. When Wednesday will be available, I am interested in Mail Mini integration. Okay. Hi, when Wednesday will be available. Wednesday session, I mean. Okay. So I will be back in the saddle. We had a little weird, we had birthday parties, a family tradition of watching a particular ball game that happened this week, and about 4 other things that just knocked this week out. So Esmilda, we'll be back in the saddle this coming Wednesday. If you are an elite member, I can't remember, and so forgive me, Esmilda, but my calendar is in the elite package, and you can book a one-on-one with me as well if you need to do anything with that. But if you are an elite member, there's a training already on how to connect your if you're talking about the voice broadcast, or excuse me, the bulk texter to your auto response email system. If you're not, I can go over that Wednesday night on a training as well. Be more than happy to. Absolutely. And Paul says, what's the saying? Money likes speed. You better believe it. The quicker you can get on and respond to someone, just the better off you're going to be. Here's another statistics. 80% of sales require 5 follow-up calls after the meeting. Now think about that, guys. I even have elite members sometimes that, get a little discouraged because they've had this very positive interaction with a client, a very, just almost could say, man, this deal is going to happen. And then it sort of goes cold for a little bit. Well, you don't want to be pushy, but you want to be persistent. And you want to, in the way you be persistent, hey, did you look at so-and-so? Did you consider this? Out of our conversation, I'm recalling what industry are they in? What's their major pain points? What was their timetable that we discussed? I've asked them a bunch of questions so that, I know how to readdress them later on. So I'm sending emails, okay? And if you structure your auto response, and here's the other thing, you need to have your auto response set up to where you've got an AR set up to when people opt in and just apply, and they're looking for what it is you do. And then you need to have an auto response synced to your survey page, another list that follows up with them, because now that's someone that says, I want to do it. That's a completely different client. You're not trying to sell them on, let's have a meeting, let's talk, let's see if this is right for you, let's pitch or ditch, let's get you into an hourly type thing or something like that, or let's do this as a production. That's not the conversation anymore. They've said, hey, I have seen the light and I want to come down the aisle and give my heart to this entrepreneurial world. Okay. So you're trying to raise that saint now in the ways of entrepreneurialism, right? So that's a whole different, and so you need to have a second AR on that survey page that's saying, okay, following up and trying to readdress that conversation. So that's another one, but absolutely. Gary says, I have some great things I am putting together for the TW3 conference. You will do not want to miss it. Guys, if you want to come to that conference and you're an elite member, or you're just a regular member, or you're not a member, everybody go to worthmoreconference.com. If you're a member, put in your Recruiter's name and you get a discount. You're either going to get it for half off, which is $197, or if you're an elite member, you're going to get it for $29. We only got about 6 or 7 tickets left, so get over there because our room will hold 75 people, and once it's done, it's done. Okay, so we've got to sort of cap it off, and I think we're right up at around 55, 60 right now. But we've got to have some extra space for the speakers and stuff like that. We're not counting them. So just get over there if you want to do it. I'm telling you, it's going to be worth every penny that you sow into it, because the best money you could ever spend and sow into is in your own personal development, professional development. Shara says, Judy Brown brought me in, took me a month to position myself to purchase the platform. That's right. You just got to take time. Shara, if Judy would have gave up on you and said, well, Shara just must be, wasting my time, you wouldn't be here today. You wouldn't have this system. Judy stayed in touch the entire month. She never gave up, and that's the way you have to do it. Kevin says, Terry, the Wednesday nights trainings, are all of them recorded? Yes, because I can't get to them because I work nights. No problem, Kevin. The reason we record them is because we got a lot of people that on Wednesday nights can't be there for one reason or the other. If you go into your back office, you'll see tabs at the top of, I'll just go back there and show you. Let me see if I can get over there real quick, and I will show you. Let me see here. I will show you where it's at. Instead of tell you, let me show you. I think that's an old Rush song, isn't it? Show me, don't tell me. Show me, don't tell me. You didn't come here to hear me sing, so I'll stop. So right here, you see in your back office, you see where it says webinars right here. So if you click on webinars, then you go to the private trainings, and that's on Wednesday nights. It's right there. And then you'll see now, this last week's is not, it will be right here. It's not there yet, but it will be by the end of the day. It usually takes me a couple days to render the video and get it up. But that is a great sales training right there. Top 3 excuses. And I go through them and why people have them, the psychological reason, and how you can overcome those objections without being pushy, without being, that kind of thing. That's there. And then I've got some, February 6th all the way through here. And then what we've done, we've archived all the older ones, so you can go back here to the archive. And then here's the top trainings of 2018. I think everybody should see. I think they're very relevant. So it's back there. So that's where that's at. So I hope that helps you out, Mr. Kevin. And persistent pays off all the time. You're right, Shara. And Paul says, sounds like it's bigger and better than it was. It is. And it's just getting better. Terry, when is the conference date? So March 21st through the 23rd, Josie. Send me a text and I can give you some information on that, but we can take care of you and get you there. Okay. But now I don't have any more. Yesterday was a cutoff on the catering. So if you want to eat lunch with me and some of my ELT trainers and speakers, unfortunately that ship has sailed because we had to get that into the caterer, but we still have some tickets. Just signed up for the conference. Can't wait. Anticipating great things. Alan, I'm telling you, it will be worth every moment, penny, and time that you're there. Because there's, Captain Quackenbush, Mark Griffin, as we call him Captain Quackenbush. That's another story we'll have to share later. But he said something profound. I've heard it before, but he was right. But this guy, he came to the conference last year. He came in through Gary. He's one of Gary's guys. And he came to the conference. He made one sale before he got to the conference. He upgraded to the elite package so he could come to the conference. Well, he came to the conference because he upgraded. I don't know if that's the reason. I don't want to sign motives. I don't know exactly. He can answer that. But after the conference, his business just exploded. Just absolutely exploded. And so when I reached out to people that came last year and I said, hey, I'm putting a promotional package together. Can you guys give a little testimony of what you thought of the conference last year? He wrote this thing I had to stop. I was crying. And then he recorded this thing and he said something profound. He said this: some things are caught and some things are taught. He said, I learned a lot by what y'all are teaching, but what I caught just being around you guys and seeing the way you do things in your business. He said it was worth the price of admission. And we're looking, because here's the thing. This type of organization and putting on these type of events is not in my strong suit. I'm not that guy. I don't organize events. I can go and speak at them. I love that. But organizing is a whole nother thing. That's why I brought in Chris, because he's a church planner and he's done organizational things like this his whole life. That's what he does. And so I'm leaning on him to be my organizational arm. Because if it had been left up to my own, well, should we do this or not, I probably wouldn't have done it again. But out of the people that came, you got to do this again. You got to do this again. And then out of 25 people came, 23 of them, we just saw, boom, explode. I was like, okay. So there's value in this because at the end of the day, how do I make my money? I keep people happy. They're making money. And as long as they're making money using my system, my retention rate stays high. So in the aggregate, I make my money back just by putting value into our membership and the people that are a part of it and making money. So, hey, Kamaya, good to have you on. Shalom, shalom. Absolutely. And Aeon says, hello. Hey, Aeon, how's it going, brother? Good to have you, or sister. I can't see the picture, so I apologize if I misassigned something there. I'm wearing my glasses, but I still can't see. Too small of print. Caroline, will we get details of the agenda and the sessions available? Yes, that's why we were meeting with the speakers this Wednesday night, and we're finalizing on that, and we'll be sending that out to you for what you'll see. But yeah, you'll get an agenda, and the way it's going to work is, like, for instance, if you want to go to Mark's or you want to Gary's or mine or one of the others, we're going to be teaching the same class one or two different times, so you can go to one and miss it and then come back and circle back. So we're trying to get we want you to get as much information and content as you possibly can, and so we're doing it in a way that where people can if they miss the first time that I give something, or Gary gives something, or Mark gives something, or Jane gives something, or whoever, they can say, oh, but they're teaching that again, and they can go to this. And so that's the way it's sort of laid out. But we got the way it's going to work is we'll have a general assembly talking about something that it's applicable to everyone. And then we'll have breakout sessions where our trainers come in and they say, okay, you're wanting to work with script development, you're wanting to work with coaching, you're wanting to work with, mindset, all that kind of stuff. So you can sort of pick and choose, sort of like a buffet. But it's going to be great. I'm telling you, you guys need to go to worthmoreconference.com, get your tickets while we've still got a few available. Like I said, we can't do the lunches now, but you can definitely do the tickets and stuff. So we want you there. It's going to be worth every moment you're there. Okay. Thursday is the best day to prospect. Isn't that weird? So here's some weird statistics. 4 to 5 is the best time to call. And on Thursdays, they say for some reason did I mispronounce something? Oh, thank you. I got your text, Captain. And Ian is the way I pronounce your name, and I apologize. Please forgive me. I know I'm a speaker for a living, but I'm not a good speaker. But I make a decent living, so it's weird. My southern dialect sometimes hides more than it reveals. Ian says, Terry, question. I have an acquaintance who is in the entertainment industry. How can I approach them? So what I would do is, what kind of entertainment are they? Music, dance, art? Where are they at on that? And so sometimes I approach folks in that world like I approach, for instance, pastors. I don't approach them as this being a tool to use, but more of an opportunity to engage so they can supplement their income to be able to continue to pursue their passions. And so music. Okay, great. So here's what I would do. I would basically let them know that this program, especially for music, that this whole platform was started by a guy from the music industry. I was a retailer and wholesaler. And what this platform will do is allow them to, number one, build their brand and what they're doing, but at the same time, give them some business structure and strategies to use to be able to stay in music, do music, and make money with it. Okay. And this is just what it is a business in a box for people that's got a particular passion. So I would just say, hey, would you be interested in looking at something that will allow you to stay in music and in entertainment, but be able to add some income streams to it? And then what you'll want to do is, and you want to, if you can at all, get them the elite package, because what that will be able to do is give them a platform that they can have a podcast that promotes their music. It gives them direct contracts to referral marketing partners that will pay them to promote on the podcast, on the blog, and on different things. So that's the way I would approach it. I would say, we've got a platform that you can use in your music that will help you grow your music business, get more exposure, and give you different income streams so that you're not contingent upon getting paid to go play at a gig or only getting paid to sell music, your personal music, but give you a lot more diverse income. That's what I would do, because that's, at the end of the day, you can take musician out and put pastor in, put life coach in, put basketball coach in. It doesn't matter what the industry is. Our elite package will allow them to stay in that world, stay in that vein, get some products that would complement that particular, like for instance, if they're in music, man, we could show them how they could give music away. They could give trials away on different things, how they could refer people to different instruments that, and I'm not talking about affiliate marketing, because anybody can go out and go to Amazon and get an affiliate link. I'm talking about getting connected with some referral marketing partners that will say, hey, if you will send us a lead, whether they buy this guitar, they buy this recording device, they buy whatever, just for sending us that lead, we're going to give you a few dollars. That's what I'm talking about. So that's the way I would approach it, Ian. I think you'd have great success doing it that way. Great question. Any other questions? Nearly 13% of all jobs in the U.S. Think about this, guys. Nearly 13% of all jobs in the U.S. are full-time sales positions. I had someone, a good friend of mine, the other day goes, "Are you still doing that online stuff?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Do you think it's sustainable?" And I was like, "Well, I've been doing it now for 11 years this way. And then I started my music business online, back in the late 90s. So during that time, how many jobs have you had?" And he told me, and I was like, "Sounds like mine's more sustainable than yours," because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You could cut grass for a living. How are you going to get that client to hire you to cut grass? See, everything is contingent upon someone selling it. No matter what you do, you've got to have someone out there you can say, "Terry, all I want to do is paint for a living." Okay, who's going to buy your paintings? "Terry, all I want to do is speak for a living." Well, okay, who's going to pay you to talk? See, at the end of the day, you've got to have a sales apparatus in your business. You've got to have a marketing apparatus in your business, and you got to have a monetization schedule that's not just contingent on sales in your business, but which, by the way, episode 354, this coming Monday night, I'm going to be talking about how you can make money in your business even when clients are not buying and are saying no. We're going to show you how you can reposition yourself in your business to make money even when no one's buying. And some of this is going to be so simple, it's going to make you slap yourself saying, "Why haven't I been doing this for the last 20 years? Because I've done this. I'm showing you some strategies I use in my personal business every day to make money, and I'm going to show you the same thing. So I would definitely do that. Gary says, "Get your tickets at the TW3 conference." Absolutely. Terry says, "Still have a few." Got just, I think we got 7 left, maybe 6, 7. Don't hold me to that. But once they're gone, because it's just, we can't put so many in there. And it's going to be Monday night. All of our public live podcast that we record is on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Monday nights at 9 p.m. But if someone's pushing back on you guys because you're wanting to be an entrepreneur, you guys on here are wanting to be someone that puts a dent in the universe. And so they're saying, "Well, that stuff, that's just not, it's not reliable. I mean, is it sustainable?" Well, here's a number from Forbes that came out last year of 2018, that 13% of the entire job market, out of all the jobs, 13% of them are sales only, just sales, raw sales. And 100% of them are contingent upon someone in sales selling it. I mean, you might be someone that just sits behind a board and operates that board, but someone had to sell the service that requires that board operator to be operating. So are you in a reliable career path? You better believe it. And whether you stay in online marketing, you go to car sales, you go to real estate, you go to whatever, even if you go back into some medical profession, when someone says this, think about this, guys. When someone says, "I like that doctor, he has good bedside manners." Have you guys ever heard that? Is that just a southern saying, or have you guys heard that in your neck of the woods where you're at? Have you ever heard someone say, "I go to Dr. So-and-so, he's got good bedside manners"? Has anyone heard that? Yeah, those guys at Enron thought their jobs were sustainable too. You're right, Mark. That's exactly right, Ian. Ian says doctors and lawyers, no matter how famous they are, they have to continue to market and reach new clients in order to keep the practice going. Guys, what we teach and what we give you at TW3 is the lifeblood. That's why we call it a platform. You have to have this in order to have business. So you guys, Kevin, you've heard this. He said, "What? You know what? When people say, I go to Dr. So-and-so because he has good bedside manners, do you know what they're saying? They're saying he's a good salesperson. That's all they're saying. Because what is a good salesperson? A good salesperson is someone that educates me on what they're selling or what they're offering. They build rapport with me, which means I'll not only like them, but I trust them, and I trust that they have the authority to operate within the realm that they're talking about. Anytime, people go to people that are, it doesn't matter. So if you got this idea, well, I'm just going to go to medical school and I'll become this, and then I somehow, by the luck of whatever, I'm going to be successful and never have to worry about how to quote unquote sell. You know, the only way, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, you got to know how to sell. You got to know how to market. What does that mean? I got to know how to communicate with people. I got to know how to build rapport with people. I need to know how to persuade people, because without those skill sets, it doesn't matter what business that you could be working on a dock somewhere, loading freight. You're going to go up in that business by the value and the way you communicate with management, the way you communicate with clients. The better you are at persuading people, solving people's problems, giving value to people, which are all entrepreneurial skill sets you got to have, the higher you're going to go up. It doesn't matter what field you're in. So absolutely. So when they say, I go to so-and-so because he has good bedside manners, all they're saying is, hey, this doctor, not only is he good at what he does, he's not a jerk, And here's the dirty little secret. Because I know, I don't know if I should say this. There are some doctors that have built a huge practice, not based on how good of a doctor they are, but how good of bedside manners they have. It's amazing. But it goes back to what Maya Angelou says. People often forget what you tell them, but they'll never forget how you make them feel. We got an old saying here in the South. Now, you guys afford me a little latitude here. I'm going to get, a little culturally relevant to my area. But here in the South, one of the running jokes is you can say the nastiest, ugliest thing to anybody you want as long as you put bless her heart after it. But she's dumb as a box of rocks, bless her heart. What are we saying? Because this... I know we're making fun of Southerners, but it permeates the entire culture, the entire world, no matter where you're at. What they're saying is you can say, as long as you say it in such a sweet, nice way, you can say some of the ugliest stuff. Why? Because people hear attitude and emotions. They don't hear the words. So I encourage you guys, when you're out there, remember someone saying, hey, entrepreneurialism and sales, that's just not sustainable. Well, the skill sets, the mindsets, the attitudes, the way that you have got to, the assets you've got to have to be successful. The thing I love about sales and entrepreneurialism, it's right there. There's no hiding behind this business structure, this political thing going on in office. I can't hide behind, whatever. No. I get direct feedback. If I'm not communicating value, if I'm not making people feel good about themselves, if I'm not giving them something that they can grab a hold of and get something out of, my paycheck is directly, immediately affected. And that's why when you get people pushing back, don't pursue entrepreneurialism, don't pursue sales, it's not sustainable. You've got to be out your mind. It's the most sustainable, most scalable business that you can have. I'm getting off my soapbox now. And Jeremy's bedside manner makes all the difference. You better believe it, because people want to be treated correctly and feel like they're important to them. If no one knows you have something to sell or services you're offering, you cannot stay in business. That's right. And Larry says, so true. Kevin Fierce, that's Greenville talk. And Jeremy said, bam, the words are a small percentage of the communication, so much as in the tone and more. You better believe it. And Paul says, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I mean, I can tell you right now, I have been in sales environments, and you guys that are professionals on here, you could probably testify. Have you ever been in an environment where you're new to the business, new to the product, new to the service? You don't know all the ins and outs. You don't know, you're not an engineer. You can't break that car apart and tell them exactly why it's got the best fuel efficiency and the safety and all that other stuff. You can't repeat all that stuff. But you know that there's a family in front of you, and they care for their family and they need something of great value. And you can start speaking to their needs and start letting them know that you care about them, and letting them know that if they got any questions or any problems, you're going to be there. And you might not know every answer right now, but you'll be right back to them and get it for them. You can sell yourself. You can sell the relationship that you're trying to build. And when you come across genuinely, you're going to do business. And you could be the dumbest guy on the car lot. You could be the most ignorant person in the insurance business. People buy people. And if they like you, they'll buy from you. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean that you can stay ignorant and write good business, because if you're selling on personality only and you don't have any proficiency, it will catch up with you and it will bite you in the rear. So it's important to both have personality, but also proficiency in what you're offering and selling. So good stuff. Cher says people can actually hear your smile when you're talking to them on the phone. I believe that. So I actually smile when I'm talking to them. You need to. And Captain says, if you can sell, you can always pay your bills. That is the absolute truth. That is the absolute truth. And that's why you guys, I would tell, in one of the ways that and this is just something that I throw in when I'm talking to people about our platform at TW3. And I can say, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, I can't guarantee that you're going to be able to grab a hold of these tools tomorrow and make what Mark and Gary and Lindsay and others that have been with me, I can't guarantee you're going to make that money tomorrow. I can't. But I can guarantee you this: all the tools, all the training, all the systems that they are using to make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and I have made going on 11 years now, are all going to be at your fingertips. And even if you don't make $1 in the first year, it will be worth every penny you spent, because you're about to go to school and you're about to get some training that listen, if I knew about it, I probably wouldn't even invented and come up with all this if I had known about it, because I'd be using someone else. But I did not. I had people that was really heavy on mindset and teach me all kinds of mindset stuff. I had people over here that could teach me some technical skill sets and things over here. I had people that taught, but I had nobody that put it all under the hood and then could turn it into a business opportunity. So that's why you guys, with full throat, with full heart, with full conscience, you can say, this is going to improve your life personally, professionally, and yes, eventually, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe next year, financially, if you will stay at it, I promise you, because you'll be able to grab a hold of these tools, these trainings, technologies, and make it happen. Gary says, ABC always be closing. That's right. And Captain says, the technical stuff doesn't matter a hill of beans if you don't care about your prospects' needs. You're right. And what is this technical stuff? What is this technical stuff? People need to know that they can trust you and you will care for them. Guys, at the end of the day, this is a people business. At the end of the day, the reason why you learn how to use an autoresponder like we're talking about today, so that you can have sustainable business, the reason why you learn how to create ad copy or voicemail drops or bulk text or bulk email, the reason you learn all these quote unquote technical stuff is so that you can communicate your message. And if your message is not wrapped in love and in compassion and caring and in wanting the best for your client, then all you're going to do is amplify what you're already saying. That's all these tools are for. But the reason we tell you to use these tools is because you, as one person in today's world, are not going to be able to keep up. You're not going to be able to keep up with what people want. People want information. They want it now. Well, you're only one person. Listen, I've got over 3,000 reps that are constantly, Terry, can I have, if I didn't know how to make videos, podcasts, do live streaming, I mean, I've had to learn a bunch of technical stuff. Why? So that I can meet as best I can the demand for people wanting information. And you've got to have the same thing. And that's why everything I use, I show you everything. This is how you use it. This is what you do. This is how I use it. This is what fits me. But if you don't like this over here, maybe try it this way over here. But you're right. The technical stuff is nothing more than a means to an end. It's not the end. And I want to talk to you guys that like to fidget for just a minute. Don't allow yourself to get back in the back office and just fidget. Just start playing. So many guys, and I'm one of them. It's like going, I'm about to use a very old reference. It's like going and buying a VCR. You come home and you learn to play, you learn how to set the clock, which we never did. It always blinked 12. And you learn how to auto time record things, but then you never use it. I have not so many, but I have quite a few that will get in. They tinker with their blog. They set up their blog. They set up their funnel. They set this up. They set that up. And I mean, they're just constantly tweaking. They never run an ad. They never use one of the tools to drive traffic. They never do it. And I asked them, I said, where are you? Well, I'm still, listen, all of this stuff, like Captain just said, all of this stuff is nothing more than tools to get your message out, to get you on the phone talking to someone, to get you relating to someone, get you talking and sharing your value so you can turn a suspect into a prospect and a prospect into a client. That's all this stuff is for. So don't get lost in all of the stuff. RG says, how do you keep emails organized for your follow-ups other than a spreadsheet? Well, what your autoresponder, RG, when you get one set up, will do that for you. So whoever you're using, they will have you to where you can set your various list. I'm not talking about you, Caroline. But as the preacher says, if the train hits you, get off the tracks. No, I'm messing with you. Your autoresponder will let you set up various lists. And the way I organize it, RG, is I will name that list after the opt-in form that's populating that list. So in other words, I've got my sales funnel set up. Maybe I've got my application page. That application page will have a form on it called application. And that form will be synced to a list over here at my auto response company. Then that list will be called applicants. And then I know to sync that list to this opt-in form. And then all the emails that go out from that particular list. So the way I've got it triggered every time someone joins this list, send this email out, then send this email out, and then send this email out, and then send this email out. And all of those emails, I'll say A1, A2, why? Applicant 1, applicant 2. So I just keep it all organized. My page is my application page. The form on that page is my application form. The list that those people who opt into that form join a list, and I name it applicants or applications or whatever. And then the emails that go out are going to be like a A1, A2. So if you'll keep it all organized, and then they go through the funnel, and then I've got another AR going out, or a auto response, a sequence of emails going out on my survey page. So when they fill out that survey, how's that work? I've got a page called survey. I got a form called survey. I've got a list over here that's called survey respondents or whatever. And then I've got emails going out, S1, S2, S3. So that's the way I organize it. And I hope it helped. If it didn't, circle back and I'd be more than happy. Captain says, by the way, Hill of Beans is some Southern talk or as something of value. That's exactly right. Hey, you were talking to me, Mark. I understood exactly what you were talking about. Ian says, show me a value in what you are offering and prospects will follow in your footsteps. You better believe it. Art of Sale. And Captain says, VCR, we have never got that clock to stop blinking yet. We eventually just unplugged ours and got rid of it because we didn't know how to operate it. Well, guys, did you get anything out of today? Have we learned something? Have we gotten some value out of today's live stream that's going to help you? I thought these statistics from Forbes was just, man, that was just mind blowing to me. So I'll post that with this particular live stream. In a typical firm of 100 to 500 employees, the top, listen to this, in a firm, statistically speaking, in a firm that employs 100 to 500 people, the top 7% owners are the sales staff, people that's responsible for bringing the business in. Someone wants to push back on using entrepreneurialism, sales, and marketing. That's just not sustainable. You are talking to someone that don't understand business. So, just smile and say, thank you for your concern. And Shara says, yes, thank you so much, Terry. Ian says, yes, if we can do live stream more often. Well, we'll do as much as we can. How about that? And Larry D. And, okay. All right. Alan, good to have you on. Encouraged to push on. Ian, thank you. Caroline. All right. Guys, thank you for joining me. This will be on the blog. It will go out. If you want to share this with your prospective clients, you can. Make sure you get everybody episode, I think it's 354. Oh, by the way, I have another podcast that comes out on Thursdays. If you're not part of if you haven't subscribed to my podcast, you can over at terrywilson3.com/iTunes. The live podcast is on Monday nights. And then I pre-record one that's to be published on Thursday mornings, and you can get those in your either Stitcher account or your iTunes account if you subscribe to my podcast over at terrywilson3.com/iTunes or terrywilson3.com/Stitcher. If you're not on a Apple product and you're on an Android product, you can get our podcast over at terrywilson3.com/Stitcher. It's a free app. Download it and then subscribe to the terrywilson3.com show. But we have, and normally I try to make those, very business related and more of a teaching, not because it's just me in here, so there's no bantering. And matter of fact, I had a great one. If you haven't heard episode 353, I go into 10 ways to negotiate better, to become a better negotiator. And that's episode 353. And you can get that over at terrywilson3.com/iTunes or terrywilson3.com/Stitcher. This coming Monday, we're going to do episode 354, and we're talking about how to earn money when people say no. When you're getting rejected, when you're people saying, I don't want what you offer. Well, how do you monetize that business? Because eventually it's going to fall. Well, what they're just telling you is you haven't told me why I need to depart from my money yet. And so we get into negotiating sales, building the value that you offer people, understanding how to communicate that more effectively. We've got training for our members in that regard. But even when you give all the value in the world, there's still going to be people say, and I'm going to show you Monday night and invite all of your prospective clients, because what they're going to hear is because what I want people to understand that are not members at TW3 is, if you get involved, we're going to give you strategies that you can make money even if you're not selling. Now, what business opportunity from home will offer that? Okay, so I've got some tried and true strategies I've used for 25 years now. These are all practical, applicable. They're not contingent upon a high proficiency in technical skill set. Okay. These are things that's just a matter of positioning yourself with a client to be able to do. So I think no matter, they're not going to, I don't have a blog. They don't have to have any of our tools to be able to do some of the things I'm going to be showing Monday night on episode 354, but you'll want to be there. So thank you guys for coming out today. Greenback says great content. Thank you, Greenbacks. Very good. Thank you, Esmildo. Kevin says, thank you kindly, Terry. Greatly appreciate all that you do. Thank you, Kevin. I really, and Lindsay. Well, do I have to thank Lindsay as well? I guess I will. I'll let her know that she was thought of as well. But guys, thank you so much for being on today, and we will see you Monday night.
Thank you for listening to our show today at terrywilson3.com. If you would like more information on how we can take your money, your business, and your life to the next level, then please visit us online at terrywilson3.com or call 800-673-1728.
This is the Terry Wilson. Really, I'm excited, Terry. I want to get started here.
Is this the celebrity, Terry Wilson? Oh, my word. How you doing, sir?
Dude, don't even go there. I've been listening to this for a while, and I'm finally like, okay, guys, what a privilege. I mean,